Hey everyone, Doctor of Science stuff here. And I've been thinking lately about writing a book of science stuff because I have the heart of a teacher and I like teaching this stuff. But it got me thinking, books? What's up with that? So I thought, let me do a video and tell about where books come from. And it started in Russia with a guy named Leonardo Tolstoy. And he had this idea for a story called War and Peace. But nobody wrote stuff down back then because writing had just been invented by the ancient Chinese. They were hired by the Egyptians to write hieroglyphics, which is that weird Chinese writing on the inside of the pyramids and on the Sphinx. The Sphinx's collar, it had his owner's name and number on it. And, then the wind and the rain in the desert. Anyway, it wore it all the way. But so Tolstoy, up until that point, he had to grab a friend and be like, let me tell you my story, War and Peace. And the friend be like, okay. And then Tolstoy would start. And 2 months later, when he finished, he'd noticed that the friend had died 6 weeks ago because he couldn't eat or drink nothing. And Tolstoy's like, yeah, this isn't good for mass production. So he called the ancient Chinese. They lived about the same time. And he said, hey, you write this stuff on rocks. Can you write my story on rocks with your language? And they're like, yeah. They thought he meant like a short story, like a haiku, which they invented. But so Tolstoy told them, and they were writing on all the rocks. And when they finished, Tolstoy was like, who's going to buy this? How many rocks are there? It would take people years just to move the story into their house. And so they, by the way, used all those rocks to build the Great Wall of China. Like if you look at the inside of those rocks, it's War and Peace in hieroglyphics. But anyway, Tolstoy worked with them to invent paper, and then they wrote the hieroglyphic War and Peace, which if you look at it in the original Russian, their language is called ceramic, then it kind of looks that way. But that's how it all started.